So you've just taken your first trip to Westworld, and you've seen the first episode. You might have one or two ideas about where this is heading. You might be right. You may be wrong. I would think the latter.
I close my eyes, then I drift away.
How does this work?
Figuring out how it works is half the fun.
The scene downstairs in cold storage with the 200 naked, deep sleeping robots, that was pretty trippy. It was a pretty trippy scene. Not without its fun side, though. He leaves the lab. He goes down into cold storage, where there are hosts that are kind of in deep sleep, hosts who have misbehaved, who have, are no longer welcome to play with the others. Yeah, we were down in the basement of some old abandoned mall downtown LA somewhere, and it was kind of cold and funky, like kind of petri dish like vibe in there, and there were like 150 naked robots, just hanging out in the moist damp down there. And it was pretty wild. A couple of guys had to be asked, to go back to holding. They were a little too excited, shall we say, to be on set that day and just, take a break, maybe, relax, come back, for a take later or so. But it was pretty wild. But everybody was, everybody was great, and some of these folks we learned were even like kind of professional nudists, and everybody was really, kind of obviously very professional and atmosphere around, but it's also a lot of fun, and everybody's really, good sport. And at the end of the day, it's like, okay, just saw another one. There it was. There it walked by, and it just becomes, routine. But makes for good TV, though.
You'll put yourself away again, won't you, Bill?
When you see Ford, and you see who he interacts with, I think it tells you something about his relationship to the outside world, larger society, and his need for the creation of this park, because he largely interacts, when we first find him, he's down in the bowels of this place, reminiscing with, with the early generation host that he built, and, having drinks and commiserating. And I think it tells you something about, the loneliness of Ford, and also, again, perhaps the misanthropy that lives within him. And we take it from there. We see where it goes. We can go anywhere with this. Really just is limited by the imagination of Jonah Nolan, Lisa Joy, and J.J. Abrams, and I can tell you there's some wide spaces in those imaginations. So yeah, we're in this for the long haul.